Hey guys. So when you go to a Ukrainian church, the service will most likely be in Ukrainian. And when you go to a Polish church, the service will most likely be in Polish. So in what language do you expect the service to be in a Lemko or Rusin church? Stay tuned to find out. And here's the answer that everyone's been waiting for. The liturgical language traditionally used in Lemko and Rusin churches is Church Slavonic. What does that mean exactly? Well, here's some history. In the 9th century, Saint Cyril and Methodius, two brothers and missionaries from the Byzantine Empire, converted Slavs over from paganism to Christianity. At the time, there was no written language for the Slavs, and therefore Saint Cyril and Methodius created the Old Church Slavonic language based on what some of the Slavs spoke at the time. With the Old Church Slavonic language, it was now easier for the Slavs to read religious texts such as the Bible, and thus it was easier for them to convert over to Christianity. At first, the Glagolitic alphabet was used, but it soon developed into the Cyrillic alphabet, named after Saint Cyril himself. Over the centuries, Old Church Slavonic became the dominant language of the Orthodox and Greek Catholic churches. And as languages naturally change over time, so did Old Church Slavonic. For example, big use and little use were no longer nasal, though Polish still retains these sounds, and these letters, that once used to be vowels, were now silent. Though, to be fair, this letter is still a vowel in Bulgarian. This more modern version of Old Church Slavonic is simply known as Church Slavonic. Also, since the number of Slavic languages increased and not all shared the same pronunciation, different groups of Slavs had different variants of Church Slavonic. These different variants are known as recensions, and the main difference among them is the pronunciation. For example, Russians will pronounce this letter as ye, where Lemkos and Rusnaks will pronounce it more as yi. Now, some churches eventually did replace Church Slavonic with the vernacular language to make it easier to understand, but Church Slavonic is still used. For an example, you can still hear it in a Russian Orthodox church, in a Greek Catholic church in Prashyshchina, Lemkovina, and Podkarpatia, and you could still hear it in a Byzantine Catholic church in Pennsylvania. So Church Slavonic played a big role in religion, but it also played a role in a secular way. Back in the 1800s, Lemkos and Rusnaks used a combination of Russian, Church Slavonic, and their own vernacular in an effort to create their own literary language. This literary language was known to some as язык. So, how does Church Slavonic sound like? Here's an example. Here we have Otče náš in Church Slavonic. Because the script might be difficult to read, under this video, I will be adding a transliteration using letters from the Lemko alphabet to help you correctly pronounce the words in the recension that Lemkos and Rusnaks use. Otče náš, iže jesi na nebesích, da świętycia imię Twoje, da przyjdzie carstwie Twoje, da буде воля Twoja, jako na nebesi i na землі. Хліб наш насущний даж нам днес, i ostawiaj nam długi nasze, jakoże i my ostawiajem dłużnikom naszym. I nie wedy nas w iskuszenie, no zbawaj nas od lukawego. Amen. So that's Church Slavonic. If interested, you can find other common prayers and tropars in Church Slavonic in the description below.